The world is not supposed to make you happy. A brutal truth for those who see obstacles as injustice. But what if the obstacles are the path? What if life was never meant to please you, but to shape you? This isn't the end of hope, it's the beginning of becoming. We begin with a simple truth, one so obvious that it slips through the cracks of modern thinking. The world was never designed to make you happy. Somewhere along the line we bought into the idea that happiness is the purpose of life, that the universe should revolve around our comfort, our joy, our constant emotional satisfaction, that if we aren't feeling good, something must be wrong. And so we begin to chase happiness the way a man might chase a mirage in the desert. The faster we run toward it, the more it disappears. Now, this is not just a misguided notion, it's a dangerous one. Because if you believe the world owes you happiness, you will meet every hardship with bitterness. Every setback will feel like a betrayal. Every moment of sadness will seem like a personal failure. But let me ask you something. Where did you get the idea that life is supposed to be easy? Welcome to the Still Observer, the channel where we speak without sugar, see without filters, and think beyond the noise. The ancient Stoics, men like Seneca, understood something that our modern world has forgotten. They knew that happiness isn't found in the conditions around us, but in the condition within us. They knew that we do not control what happens, but we do control how we meet it. You act like mortals in all that you fear, Seneca said, and like immortals in all that you desire. Isn't that the truth? We fear hardship as if we'll never survive it, and we desire comfort as if we'll live forever to enjoy it. We live unprepared for the reality of life and untrained for the storms that inevitably arrive. You see, life isn't here to please us. Life is here to shape us. And often what shapes us most doesn't feel good while it's happening. There is a quiet strength in accepting this, a dignity in looking life in the eye and saying, "I didn't expect you to be easy. I expected you to be real." The man who suffers most is not the one who encounters difficulty. It is the one who expected he never would. That is the tragedy of our modern idea of happiness. It breeds weakness. It leaves people unprepared to endure anything more than mild discomfort. And so, when life does what life has always done, when it throws us into chaos, when it tests our patience, when it strips away comfort, people break. Not because they're fragile by nature, but because they were never taught the truth. Seneca didn't promise ease. He promised preparation. He didn't eliminate pain. He illuminated the path through it. He didn't say the wise man feels no pain. He said the wise man is not ruled by it. The Stoics trained their minds like warriors trained their bodies. Every difficulty was a form of exercise. Every trial was a weight to be lifted. Every insult, every loss, every challenge, a chance to grow stronger, deeper, calmer. Today, we treat discomfort like a disease, but it is not a disease. It is a signal, a message, an invitation to become more than we are. The man who learns to face discomfort without panic is the man who becomes invincible, not in the body, but in the mind. He is no longer at the mercy of circumstances because he no longer bases his peace on them. Now, I want you to understand this. The purpose of life is not to feel good. The purpose of life is to become good, to become strong, wise, capable, and self-governed. And happiness is not the goal, it's the reward. It comes quietly, not when you beg for it, but when you've earned it, through discipline, through endurance, through living in alignment with truth. The reason so many people are lost is not because life is cruel. It's because they were promised the wrong thing. They were told that if they followed the rules, if they avoided risk, if they played nice and thought positive thoughts, life would reward them with comfort. But life is not a vending machine. Life is a mountain. It does not move for you. You climb it, or you stand still at the bottom, wondering why nothing feels right. Seneca knew this. He didn't write for men sitting in silk robes with wine in hand. He wrote for men who had lost everything, who had tasted exile, who had seen death, who had stood on the edge and said, "If this is life, I will meet it like a man." That's who you must become. Not a seeker of comfort, but a builder of strength. Not a collector of soft pleasures, but a craftsman of inner stillness. Not a victim of circumstance, but a commander of your own response. The world was never meant to make you happy, but you. There's a strange kind of freedom that comes when you stop expecting life to feel good. Not numbness, not apathy, but clarity. The kind that comes from aligning with truth rather than clinging to illusion. You see, most people don't suffer because the world is cruel. They suffer because they expect it to be kind. They expect it to be fair. They expect it to provide happiness on demand, like a product you can order, ready in 30 minutes or less. But life isn't a service. It's a proving ground. And when you finally accept that, something extraordinary happens. Your suffering begins to take shape. It begins to mean something. It becomes fuel, not for complaint, but for character. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Now ask yourself, what happens to a body that's never tested? It softens. It weakens. It forgets what it was made for. The same goes for the soul. Without hardship, the soul forgets how to endure. And endurance, my friend, is the foundation of greatness. We live in a time where feelings are king. If something feels unpleasant, we assume it must be wrong. But that assumption is costing us our strength. It's robbing us of the very qualities that make life worth living: resilience, courage, dignity. Pain is not your enemy. Your reaction to it is. And that's what Stoicism and the wisdom of Seneca is all about. It's not the avoidance of pain, but the mastery of it. Not the denial of difficulty, but the understanding that difficulty is how we become what we were meant to be. Now let's talk about happiness, because there's a great misunderstanding here. People think happiness is a state to be captured, a permanent condition to be installed. But happiness is not a destination. It's a companion that joins you along the way, only when you're walking the right path. Seneca didn't preach happiness. He preached excellence, self-command, the quiet power of meeting every storm with a steady hand. He knew that real happiness, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from chasing comfort. It comes from choosing growth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Think of the blacksmith. He doesn't curse the fire for being hot. He needs the heat. He knows it's the fire that gives the steel its strength. And you, your soul, is no different. If you've been through pain, through loss, through days when you felt the weight of the world press against your chest, then you already know this truth. You just haven't named it yet. The moments that shaped you, truly shaped you, were not the easy ones. They were the trials, the sleepless nights, the decisions you made when no one was watching. That's where your character was born. And once you understand that, you begin to see suffering differently, not as punishment, but as preparation. Seneca believed that the wise man is not afraid of pain. He's ready for it. He welcomes it, not because he enjoys it, but because he knows it will call forth the best in him. Now look at your life. Look at where you are. The doubts, the disappointments, the pressure. What if, just what if, this isn't the end of you, but the making of you? What if this discomfort is the doorway to something higher, something more stable than happiness, something called peace? Not the kind of peace that comes from soft music and scented candles, but the kind that lives inside a man who's already faced the storm and walked out stronger. That's what the Stoics were after. Not smiles, not applause, not ease. They were after something far rarer, mastery over self. And once you master yourself, once you no longer tremble at the weather of life, the world loses its power to control you. You stop being a slave to conditions. You stop needing everything to go right. You become, in the truest sense of the word, free. That's what it means to live with wisdom. That's what it means to become unshakable. The world was never supposed to make you happy. It was supposed to make you whole. And that path, the one that leads to inner wholeness, is carved through the hills and valleys of challenge. You don't have to run from it anymore. You don't have to chase what you were never promised. Let the world be what it is. Let the pain come, and when it does, meet it with a steady soul. Because the man who expects nothing from the world gains everything from within. And perhaps, in that silence, in that stillness, you'll find something better than happiness. You'll find peace. If these reflections stirred something within you, consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps us keep sharing the truth that matters. Thank you.